to Michelle's House of Miniatures. Well, I hope you're ready for breakfast because I've got 4 different breakfast items to show you how to recreate for your dolls. 3 of these items are made out of clay and the 4th one is made out of paper. The first item that I made were these pancakes, fluffy, hot, delicious pancakes for your dolls. You can add butter and syrup on top of your pancakes if you like. I've also got some toaster strudels or pastries for your dolls with some icing. I also have some French toast dusted with powdered sugar for a delicious breakfast treat. And the last item are these delicious sweet cinnamon rolls, which are made completely out of paper and paint. All right, now it's time to whip up a delicious breakfast for our dolls. This is the type of air dry clay that I'll be using today. This big tub was a gift, and I'll have to say I'm not the biggest fan of this type because the clay itself is a little difficult to work with, and then when the pieces dry, they become quite fragile. And so if a little child's gonna be playing with some of these pieces, you'll have to be careful because the pieces could crack and break. But this is what I have on hand, so this is what I'm gonna use today. The first item that we're gonna make are gonna be pancakes. They're just traditional pancakes, they're round. We're gonna make them out of clay and then add a little color. And to make the pancakes, you're just gonna grab your clay, and they're super easy. You just grab a piece, make a round ball, and depending on the size of your pancakes will depend on the size of the ball that you have. This is a little too big, so you'll just roll it out and then just flatten it down. You could even get a little roller if you want to. That way the tops are pretty smooth. And then you can shape it if you need to make it more of a circular shape. But not all pancakes are perfectly circular, so don't worry about the shape too much. The one good thing I do like about this clay is that when the pieces dry, they dry very smooth and they're white. Like they're the perfect color. Okay, so now we're going to paint our pancakes, and I'm gonna be using this orangey yellow color because it's a nice warm yellow and it gives breads a nice baked look. So you're just going to paint both sides of your pancake. And then you're going to set that aside and let it dry. And the next thing we're gonna do is take a brown, orange, and a little yellow and mix all these colors together. And then you're going to grab a Kleenex or a tissue, and you're going to lightly dab your Kleenex into the paint, and you're going to rub it on top of your pancake in a circular motion to give it a nice cooked and baked look. Once you finish painting, your pancakes are complete, and feel free to do some areas darker than others because not all pancakes cook the same. Next, we're gonna make the French toast. And to make the French toast, we need to make some bread out of clay. So you're gonna grab your clay, and you can use a template or a guide like this one that I drew out of a piece of paper to trace along, or you can shape the bread by hand. I'm going to use a template, so I'm going to grab my ball and I'm going to roll it out. And then I'm going to place my paper on top of the clay and cut it out. To add a little texture to your bread, grab a piece of styrofoam and lightly just press it on top. When your slice of bread dries, paint the outside brown and then grab another brown, and we're going to give our bread a nice pan-seared look. So grab a paintbrush, and you want one with kind of stiff bristles, and keep it dry. So you're going to dab a little bit of brown paint, and then you're going to sporadically paint the top of your bread. Now you can leave your French toast like this, or you can take it a step further and add syrup. I personally like powdered sugar on my French toast, so I'm going to grab a paintbrush, dip it in some white paint, and sporadically splat it using my finger on top of the piece of bread. The white paint gives your French toast a nice dusting of powdered sugar. The next item we're going to make are pastries, or as my daughter calls them, toaster strudels. And the way we make the pastries is you're going to grab your clay and make a square, well, make more of a square or a rectangle out of your clay. You're just going to shape it. Doesn't have to be a perfect shape of a rectangle or square. And then you're going to grab a tool. You can grab a toothpick if you like. I'm going to be using this tool, and it's from one of my daughter's clay sets. And I'm simply going to press down on all the edges. When your clay dries, give your pastry just a light, quick coating of that warm yellow. You do not have to get every single crack. It's okay to leave some of the white showing below. Next, you're going to grab your paintbrush and do your dry technique with the leftover brown paint that you have on your pastry. You can leave your pastries like this, or if you would like to add some icing, like I've done with these two, you can mix some clear glue or Mod Podge with a little bit of a creamy white into a little dish like this. Stir it around with your toothpick, and then you're going to use your toothpick to draw designs on top of the pastries. You can cover the whole thing if you like, or do little zigzags. To make some syrup, you're going to put some clear glue in a small little dish, and then you're going to add a tiny drop of yellow food coloring and a tiny drop of red. I should have mentioned this before, but make sure that your pancake is on top of wax paper or saran wrap. That way when it completely dries, you can peel off your pancake. And also let it completely dry before you try to move your pancake. The last breakfast food I'll be making are these cinnamon rolls. And these yummy cinnamon rolls are created out of paper. And to make them, all you'll need is a brown paper bag like this one that I got from my local grocery store. You'll also need a brown strip of paper about 5 inches. I didn't have a brown piece of paper, so I simply got another colored paper and colored it the brown that I needed. This is for the cinnamon. And then you'll also need to cut a strip of your paper bag about 11.5 to 12 inches, depending on how big and thick that you want your cinnamon roll, because you can really make it any size that you like. And so you're gonna grab your strip and fold it over. And you're gonna fold it several times, gluing as you go along. Now that you have your 2 strips of paper and you've cut off all the excess so that they're about the same size, you're gonna grab both of them and kind of wrap them inward to make them curl a little bit just towards the center. And then you're going to put your dark paper inside your light brown paper, and you're going to tightly roll and glue as you go along until you make a cinnamon roll shape, and you're gonna cut off the excess of the brown. After I tightly wrapped my paper around each other, I did secure it with a small rubber band to hold it in place while it dries. And you're also going to press the middle up just a little bit so you can see the different layers of the cinnamon roll. Now it's time to add some icing on our cinnamon roll. And to make the icing, you're going to use clear school glue and cream paint. Mix it together and your icing's ready. I like to icing the top of my cinnamon roll as well as a little bit on the side, and be sure to add some drizzles to make it look more realistic. When your cinnamon roll dries, and if you don't like the height, you can always use scissors and cut off the bottom. You could also use scissors and shape it a little bit if you need to. Well, I hope you enjoyed making these breakfast items for your dolls. They're lots of fun and pretty easy to make. And you can even customize the pancakes by adding chocolate syrup, whipped cream. You could add some berries if you like. I made the little squares of butter just out of clay and then painted them yellow. And now I have a nice breakfast scene. Well, thank you so much for watching.